Bullets from a teenager's gun on a Portsmouth street corner ended her brief career as a cop.
And before we go any further, the brief moment of violence you will see may be too much for some viewers. But more importantly, you will hear only on 10 her side of events from that afternoon and the lasting scars she still endures.
221.
I'm sorry, what's your location?
Phillips and Hickory.
There was a lot going on that day. That morning,
Come on.
What?
Come on.
they tried to take a hit out on an officer. And that afternoon, I got shot.
What?
Look. Turn around. Ow! Ow! Officer shot! Officer shot! Officer shot!
Every day, I wish I could go back.
In November 2017, Angelina White, then Officer Angelina Bocklini, got a call for a runaway. She spotted a 15-year-old boy on his bike and followed him for 3 blocks before stopping at Hickory Street.
I said, "Hey, what's your name?" And he said, "Will Patterson." And I replied,
Stay right here.
"That's right, I just gotta take you home."
Will Patterson had a criminal history and was a member of the 300 Gang, a group tied to shootings and other violent crimes.
And I sat him down, trying to get him to relax. Tensions were growing, and I went to put him in handcuffs.
You gotta stand up.
What'd I do?
Come on, turn around.
And I cuffed him, his left wrist,
Turn around.
and he was faster. He grabbed his gun from inside of his waistband, reached over his shoulder and shot me. And there was a moment of silence where I pushed off and went to take cover, and 5 more bullets
Officer shot.
rang out.
Where'd he go? Take your hair first. I don't know where he took off. Where you shot? Stay with me.
White was shot 5 times, and bullets penetrated her thigh and femoral artery. She initially spent 2 weeks in the hospital, and her recovery continues. Still ahead, the lasting emotional scars this shooting has left on Angelina White. Before the break, we witnessed how a police call for a runaway descended into near-deadly gunfire against former Officer Angelina White. Since that afternoon in 2017, the journey back has been fraught with physical and mental challenges that continue to this day.
Stay with me, okay?
I remember the sky was so blue that day, and I kept saying, "Help, where are we? Where are we? Help."
Where else? Where else you shot? Where's your tourniquet? Get it, your tourniquet.
I remember everything. I was awake for everything. I watched people work, people freeze over me in shock. I saw the look in their eyes that there was a dying person on that asphalt.
Officer Angelina Bocklini was on the job for just 3 months before 6 bullets on a Portsmouth street corner changed her life.
The people who know the way I am and who I am now, they'll tell you the truth, and it's an awful truth.
She's now Angelina White, and her body still struggles to heal.
Which I've already had multiple procedures to try and save the leg. This is what happens. You get to your maximum recovery level, and then what happens? It ages. It ages faster than normal.
But the memory of those moments cut even deeper.
I knew I was in a bad place.
Officer shot. Officer
You know, I still am. You know, I get help every week. It's like clockwork. I drive an hour and a half to see a special counselor. And then I stay there for an hour, and I drive an hour and a half back.
That long drive, an appropriate metaphor for the emotional struggles that endure.
The anxiety, the panic attacks, the insomnia, the night sweats where I do change my clothes 3 times a night. I sweat through my sheets where I have to pull the sheets off just so I can sleep on something dry.
Get on the ground!
And then there's Will Patterson, now age 20, who may spend the rest of his life off these streets.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of attempted capital murder.
I was satisfied with it. I can't tell you I'm happy or excited or anything like that. It doesn't change anything. But what it does change is a chance for that community to be better, because they don't deserve that. And there are people that need another chance, but at some point you have to stop and they have to suffer their consequences.
Meanwhile, Angelina White will continue her recovery away from the job she loved, protecting the streets of Portsmouth.
It's a new life. I don't get that old life anymore. I never get to be that person again. No matter how hard you try or how much treatment you go through, you don't get to go back.
Will Patterson is now serving 88 years for the attempted murder of Angelina White. With the counseling sessions and another surgery scheduled, White's medical bills are piling up. She tells us those expenses have now reached nearly $1 million. Our story was edited by photojournalist Kevin Rahm and co-produced by Adrian Mayfield. You can hear more of what Angelina White told me in our extended interview on wavy.com.